My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when you feel completely alone. No message, no support, no one checking on you. You lie awake at night, your heart heavy, asking yourself, why is this happening to me? And Shaitan whispers, Allah has forgotten you. But let me tell you something very important today. Allah never abandons His servants, not for a second. Just because you cannot see His help does not mean it is not there. Just because you cannot feel His presence does not mean He has left you. Sometimes Allah removes the noise around you so you can finally hear Him. There are battles in your life that you don't even know about, arguments that never reached you, accidents that never happened, harm that was planned but never touched you. Why? Because Allah was defending you. You were asleep and Allah was awake. You were unaware and Allah was fully aware. You were weak and Allah was powerful. The Quran reminds us that Allah is Al-Wakil, the one who takes care of all affairs. When you place your trust in Him, He handles matters in ways you could never imagine. Sometimes you ask, why am I going through this pain if Allah loves me? My dear brother, my dear sister, Allah does not test you to destroy you. He tests you to elevate you. Gold is not purified without fire. Diamonds are not formed without pressure. And believers are not strengthened without trials. That lonely phase you're in right now, it's not punishment. It's preparation. Allah is removing people who would have distracted you. Allah is protecting you from attachments that would have hurt you later. Allah is teaching you that your heart must depend on Him alone. Remember something beautiful. When everyone walks away from you, Allah draws closer. When doors close in your face, Allah opens doors you didn't even know existed. When you feel weak, that is the moment Allah's power is working in your favor. So don't lose hope. Don't question your worth. Don't think your tears are unnoticed. Every tear you shed in silence is recorded. Every dua you whisper is heard. Every struggle you endure is seen. And one day, maybe sooner than you think, you will look back and say, now I understand. Allah was protecting me all along. So hold on. Keep praying. Keep trusting. Keep walking. Because the one who created you has never stopped watching over you. And He never will. Sometimes in life, the hardest moments are not the loud ones, but the silent ones. The moments when nothing seems to be happening, when your prayers feel unanswered, when doors remain closed, and your heart begins to wonder if Allah is still near. This is where many people make a mistake. They assume that silence means absence. But in reality, Allah's protection is often the most powerful when it is hidden from our eyes. You see, if Allah showed you every danger He removed from your path, you would fall into sujood out of gratitude and never rise again. There are accidents that were meant to happen but didn't. There are people who intended harm but were stopped without you ever knowing. There are decisions you were about to make that would have broken you, yet something within you changed your mind at the last moment. That was not coincidence. That was Allah defending you quietly. We often think protection must be loud and visible, a miracle, a sudden rescue, a dramatic change. But Allah's way is far more subtle and far more perfect. Sometimes His protection is a delay. Sometimes it is a closed door. Sometimes it is the loss of something you desperately wanted. At the time it hurts. You question it. You feel disappointed. But later, when life unfolds, you realize that what you were saved from was far worse than what you were denied. When you feel alone, that is often when Allah is closest. Not because He wants you to suffer, but because He wants you to return to Him sincerely. When distractions are removed, when people step away, when the noise fades, your heart finally turns fully toward Allah. And in that quiet space, He strengthens you in ways nothing else could. Think about this. If Allah truly abandoned you, would He still allow you to call upon Him? Would He still place faith in your heart? Would He still give you the ability to make dua? The very fact that you are turning to Him, even with tears, even with confusion, is proof that He is still holding you close. Allah's protection is not always about changing your situation. Sometimes it is about changing you, giving you patience, resilience, wisdom, and trust. Sometimes He lets the storm continue, not because He has left you, but because He is teaching you how to walk through it without breaking. So when you feel forgotten, remind yourself, Allah sees what you don't. He knows what you can't. And He is arranging things in your favor, even if the picture hasn't become clear yet. Your job is not to understand everything. Your job is to trust, because Allah never abandons His servant. He protects them. even when they feel completely alone. There are moments in life when the silence feels heavy, when the absence of people makes your heart feel hollow, and you begin to wonder why you feel so alone. You may look around and see others surrounded by support, laughter, and companionship, while you sit quietly with your thoughts. But what if that loneliness is not a punishment? What if it is an invitation, a gentle call from Allah inviting you to come closer to Him? Sometimes Allah removes the noise of the world so that you can finally hear His voice. When people are around us constantly, when life is busy and loud, we often forget to turn inward. We forget to reflect, to make sincere dua, to speak to Allah from the depths of our hearts. But when you are alone, truly alone, there is no one left to rely on except Him. And that is exactly where Allah wants you to be. Not because He wants you to suffer, but because He wants to strengthen your connection with Him. Loneliness has a way of stripping away false attachments. It shows you who and what you were depending on more than Allah. Sometimes we place our happiness in people, in relationships, in expectations. And when those things are taken away, it hurts deeply. But that pain serves a purpose. It reminds you that hearts were never meant to be attached to creation in a way that replaces the Creator. Only Allah is constant. Only Allah remains when everything else fades. In those quiet moments when tears fall and no one sees them, Allah is closer to you than ever. He hears every sigh. He knows every unspoken thought. He understands the heaviness in your chest, even when you cannot explain it yourself. And in that solitude, something beautiful happens. Your dua becomes more sincere. Your heart becomes softer and your reliance on Allah becomes stronger. Many people think closeness to Allah is found only in ease and happiness, but often it is found in brokenness. When you are humbled, when you realize your weakness, when you admit that you cannot do this alone, that is when your relationship with Allah deepens. That loneliness becomes a doorway to peace because it pushes you to seek comfort from the only one who can truly give it. And remember this, Allah never isolates you to abandon you. He isolates you to protect you, to teach you and to elevate you. He may be preparing you for something greater, something that requires strength, maturity and deep faith. He may be saving you from attachments that would have distracted you from your purpose. So if you feel alone today, do not despair. Sit with Allah. Speak to Him honestly. Cry to Him if you need to. Pour your heart out in dua, because in that very loneliness, Allah is shaping you, guiding you and drawing you closer to Him than ever before. And one day you will look back at this quiet, painful season and realize it was not emptiness. It was divine closeness in disguise. There are moments in life when hardship makes you question everything. You begin to wonder why things are falling apart when you are trying so hard to stay faithful, to do good, to remain patient. The pain feels unfair and the heart quietly asks, if Allah loves me, why am I going through this? But this is where understanding changes everything. Trials are not signs of abandonment. They are often signs of divine care. Allah does not test those He wishes to destroy. He tests those He wants to raise. If every difficulty were a punishment, then the most beloved of Allah would have lived lives free from pain. Yet the prophets, the most beloved to Him, faced the greatest hardships. They were rejected, hurt, misunderstood, and tested beyond imagination. Not because Allah disliked them, but because He was preparing them for something greater. Pain has a way of refining the soul. When life is easy, we become comfortable. We forget to reflect. We forget our dependence on Allah. But when difficulty strikes, it shakes the heart awake. Suddenly, dua becomes sincere. Salah becomes meaningful. The heart turns to Allah not out of habit, but out of need. And that is when true growth begins. Sometimes Allah allows a hardship not to punish you, but to protect you from something worse. A door closes and you feel broken. A relationship ends and you feel lost. A plan fails and you feel defeated. But later, with time and clarity, you realize that what you wanted would have harmed you. What you lost would have held you back. What you cried over was actually saving you. Trials also reveal your strength. You often don't know how resilient you are until you're forced to stand when everything inside you feels weak. Allah places burdens on your shoulders not to crush you, but to show you how much you can carry with His help. And every time you endure with patience, your rank rises, even if you don't see it yet. It's important to remember that Allah never wastes your pain. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of struggle is recorded. Nothing is ignored, nothing is meaningless. Even when the lesson isn't clear, the reward is being written. Sometimes the reward comes in this life through wisdom, strength, and clarity. Sometimes it comes later in a way far greater than you could imagine. So when hardship comes, don't rush to assume Allah is displeased with you. Instead, ask yourself what He may be teaching you. Perhaps He is teaching you patience. Perhaps He is teaching you reliance. Perhaps He is preparing you for a chapter of your life that requires a stronger heart. Remember this, ease does not always mean love, and difficulty does not mean rejection. Often, the very struggle you are trying to escape is the proof that Allah is shaping you, guiding you, and drawing you closer to Him. And one day when you look back, you will realize that the trial you thought would break you was actually the moment Allah carried you forward. There comes a point in life when fear begins to creep into the heart. Fear of the future, fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of being alone. You try to stay strong, but deep inside, uncertainty shakes you. And in those moments, Allah invites you to do something powerful, to trust Him completely, not partial, not only when things make sense, but fully, even when everything feels out of control. True trust in Allah is not passive. It is not simply saying, I believe, and sitting back. It is a deep conviction in the heart that no matter what happens, Allah is in control and He knows what is best for you. It is waking up with worries and still choosing to place your heart in His hands. It is continuing to do good, to pray, to hope, even when the outcome is unclear. When you truly rely on Allah, something remarkable happens. Fear begins to lose its power over you. The same situation that once caused anxiety no longer shakes you the same way. Not because the problem disappeared, but because your heart is anchored to something stronger than the problem. You realize that nothing can touch you unless Allah allows it. And if He allows it, then there is wisdom behind it. Trusting Allah does not mean life becomes easy. It means you become stronger. It means you walk through storms with calm in your heart. It means that even when you don't understand the plan, you believe there is one. And that belief brings a peace that cannot be explained, a peace that does not depend on circumstances. Many people think strength comes from control, from having everything planned, from knowing what will happen next. But real strength comes from surrender, from admitting, oh Allah, I don't know what's best for me, but you do. That surrender is not weakness, it is courage, it is faith at its purest form. When you place your trust in Allah, you begin to see life differently. Delays no longer feel like failures. Losses no longer feel like the end. You start to understand that what misses you was never meant for you, and what reaches you could never have been stopped. Your heart learns to rest, knowing that Allah's plan is always better than your own. And here is the beautiful part. When you trust Allah, He replaces your fear with strength. Not always immediately, but gradually. He gives you patience when you thought you had none. He gives you clarity when your mind feels clouded. He gives you hope when everything feels dark. Even when you feel weak, Allah is strong on your behalf. Even when you feel uncertain, Allah's plan is firm. Even when you feel like giving up, Allah is carrying you forward. So hold on, trust Him with your heart, your worries, your future. Let go of the need to control everything. Because the moment you truly rely on Allah, you will realize something powerful. You were never alone. You were never unprotected. And you were never meant to face life without Him. And with Allah by your side, nothing, absolutely nothing can defeat you. In the end, remember this, your life is not unfolding by accident. Every moment of silence, every tear you've shed, every battle you fought in private has meaning. Even when you felt abandoned, Allah was near. Even when you felt weak, He was strengthening you. Even when the path was unclear, He was guiding your steps in ways you could not yet see. You were never forgotten. You were never unprotected. You were never alone. Allah was defending you in ways you couldn't imagine, through closed doors, through delays, through moments of loneliness, and through trials that shaped your heart. What felt like loss was often protection. What felt like isolation was often divine closeness. And what felt like weakness was actually the beginning of strength. So walk forward with hope. Hold firmly to your faith. Trust Allah even when the answers are hidden, because the one who carried you through the hardest nights will not abandon you in the daylight. And one day, when everything makes sense, you will realize that every step of the journey, even the painful ones, was guided by mercy, wisdom, and el. Oh, from the one who never leaves His servant. Allah was defending you then. He is defending you now, and He always will. Thank you, everyone.